It's a beautiful day outside here, out in the country. No people. I don't have to worry about those masks and those orange shirts or hearing people, scared to come near you. So, it's been a while, as I said, since March, since I made a video. And so today I want to talk about July 1st. Kind of preceding it and what came a little bit after it. So, let's talk about July 1st. Let's talk about it. So, we have people who want to cancel Canada Day. They say it's a disgrace. They said, put on your little orange shirt, make sure it says every little child matters or every child matters. And their big slogan, there's no pride in genocide. Well, I got news for you. There's no pride in a welfare check neither. But you're sure as hell proud about that, aren't you? So, this big movement apparently was spawned prior to that by finding so-called mass graves. Oh man, geez, talk about propaganda and lies. I mean, misstating the facts. I said, there's money in racism, And Thomas Sowell had said that racism has been tried and tested and failed everywhere. That you think by now you'd want to put an end to it instead of putting it under new management. So, the Cowess's chief had said that this is not a mass gravesite. This is unmarked graves. And over in BC, the former chief had said that we knew about these graves. So, what is it about people that they don't understand about what they hear? Because you're told what you're supposed to hear. You let the media think for you, or you let this propaganda, these crooks who are running these scams upon the people, run your lives. Well, they're not going to run my life. I waited a week, and I'd heard about this stuff before, but I'd already had the answer. That's because I'm not one of those people who want to destroy history, such as taking down John A. Macdonald name. Does it make you feel any better that they're going to take it down? I mean, your feelings. I mean, it ain't going to change the facts. But hey, it's going to make you feel better. So, why are they just claiming now to say, well, there's these mass graves? That's what happens when you forget history and you rewrite history and you focus on feelings instead of facts. Because this is a community graveyard. It's been known about. And now let's talk about why those graves are there. Well, when you look from 1860, say, to 1960, and you look at the primary diseases that have been going around from, say, smallpox or polio or STDs even, and there's a ton of other diseases out there that were killing people. Oh, no. But apparently, to the news and Indigenous people, they were only attacking Indigenous people, which is a lie. Because those diseases were ravaging white people, black and Asian people too. But this is something you don't want to know. Because it destroys your whole pathetic little story of you're a victim. See, that's just it. I'm not a victim. That's all these movements are portraying you as. Victims. So, why were these graves there? Well, there's a couple reasons why these graves were there. One, because they're not going to ship this body back to infect the rest of the community. What happens when someone gets smallpox and goes around other people? you infect the rest of the community. But hey, that's what you would have wanted. You would have wanted them to infect the rest of the community. Secondly, we know the government was cheap. The government wasn't going to pay to send the bodies back to be buried in the community. We know that. And lastly, these graves were unkept. Now, whose responsibility is that? They're unmarked because when you put wood as the markers, wood rots, it blows over, and the grass grows over. So there you go. It's like no different than out in the field here. Explainable. Something that this propaganda, these indigenous organizations don't understand. They refuse to accept facts. Because facts hurt their feelings. Actually, it really destroys their whole agenda. So let's talk about why our indigenous people are in poverty. I'm going to say it this way. Not all indigenous people are in poverty. Only the ones who choose to remain in poverty remain in poverty. With exception of seniors and some of the children. But a lot of this is created, these problems are created by a failed education system. It's not an education system, because education system make you think critically and understand things, whereas indoctrination just tells you that's the way it is. Poor Indian, that's what you are. They keep you there. And they keep you there because the chiefs want special schools for Indian teachers. So they get these special programs for these teachers who couldn't cut it in mainstream. So they give them a special program. And so they go out and they start teaching, yet they don't understand math. They don't understand calculus. They don't understand physics. All they care about is feelings and rewriting history. The liberalism, the new racism. It's what Shelby Steele said, and he's right. Because all these profs, pretty much most of them have their fake degrees. Just like many teachers have fake degrees. And a lot of the graduates, pretty much all the graduates from a lot of these native institutions have fake diplomas. Yeah, sucks to hear that, right? I went mainstream. As one guy said, the head of the ITEP program said, "You're too good to be in ITEP. You need to go to mainstream." I remember that. That was good. Anyway, so this whole education is a vicious cycle. A grade 12 on a reserve is more like a grade 9 in the city. And they focus too much on feelings or history or tradition rather than teaching the kids they need to know reading, writing, arithmetic. And the other 3 R's are long forgotten. Responsibility, respect, and rights. And I'm not talking treaty rights. I'm talking about what your rights are, other people's rights, and what is right and wrong. So, when you rewrite history because you have teachers who are unqualified and you got chiefs who want to keep you there, this is a vicious cycle that never ends. So getting into the chiefs and council, or as I like to say, the employees of Justin Trudeau. And before you get all excited, I couldn't care less about Justin Trudeau. And I can't stand the conservative cowards neither. And I really do not like these commies, these NDP and Nikki Ashton saying, burn it to the ground. How does it help to burn your community to the ground and create more problems? All you do is destroy a community. That's because that so-called MP is using you, where she's collected $180,000 each year on the backs of the people there who are living in poverty. And the only thing she has to offer you is screwing you. So, racism. People want to point that finger at that is the problem. Yeah, you're right. There is such a thing as systemic racism. It's called affirmative action, employment equity, preferential treatment. You know, it's a funny thing that individuals, right, once they get used to preferential treatment, equal treatment seems like discrimination to them because they have to compete. And that's a problem when you put a bunch of incompetent people out there, and the government couldn't have devised anything any better to show that, to keep you down. Hey, the government has to create these spots for you because you weren't good enough to do it on your own. Sure sucks hearing it from somebody like me, doesn't it? Where you can't criticize me and say he's a racist. I'm telling you how it is. Or as Thomas Sowell had said, that when you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you tell them what they want to hear. See, I'm not a politician. I don't need your vote. I don't want your vote. I don't care about your feelings. They do. I only care about the facts. And the fact is, the people that are keeping you down is that person in the mirror. But you have a chief and council, for example, who want to keep you dependent on handouts, on welfare. The job of a chief and council is to create opportunity, prosperity for their people. If they can't do that, they need to be fired. There is no room for people like that fill their own pockets while their community fails. I mean, people should be more focused on things like clean water instead of talking about racism BS. It is just so bothersome to hear that is the excuse all the time. And that's what it is. It's not a reason. It's an excuse to take responsibility for yourself and your actions. Success is not easy. It is a hard mountain to climb, but it is you who keeps yourself there, and your chief and council and these liberal professors and these other groups that are funded by the government. Well, I've never let that stop me. I've did what I wanted to do, and I'll keep doing what I want to do. I'm not going to let some idiot like Perry Bellegarde, who's searching for a Senate seat, or Bobby Cameron, same thing, all these so-called leaders who don't understand facts or get their education. Well, I'm not even going to go there. Well, I'm going to close this out very quickly in saying, take responsibility for your actions. You're being used as pawns. Because in Winnipeg, the people that tore down the statues and did a lot of this damage was done by gangs. You go across the country, there's more native gangs. And our prestigious news and our leaders are out there supporting this like it's a good thing. It's not. All you do is divide and drive a wedge between the good people and the not good people. So, think for yourself. As I said, I definitely probably hurt some feelings, but so what? I only care about facts.